What up, tubers? The Imaginative Astro Bunny here, and welcome back to Minecraft. So in today's episode, I'm going to show you how I make my roads in Rabbit World. So as you can see, I'm looking down at a basic 2-lane city road here. If I pan the camera up, you can see that there are several different types of roads, as you can see in this area of town. By the way, this area of land that you're looking at, I'm going to be developing a city on top of here called Black Lake. It's called so because of this lake here in the middle of Black County. So this is the southern part. And then I consider this swamp area over here to be the northern part of Black Lake. So yeah, this is Black Lake right here. And if you follow these bits of water, you wind up in the swamp. Oh, and over here I've got an unfinished road, which actually I think I might use to my advantage later in this video. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I make my roads for this world. So the basic materials I use for the roads are wool for the surface and stone bricks for the sidewalks, and other miscellaneous stuff such as the sides of road bridges, and sometimes stone brick is used to make the bridges themselves. If I fly over here, you can see. And there is a cow in the middle of the road. Oh, okay. She's in the shoulder, so she'll be fine. Right, Bessie? Honestly, do you have to use that language? Anyway, where was I? Okay, so, like I said, stone brick is used for the bridges. And for the underside of these bridges, I use stone brick slabs and stone brick stairs. So wool and stone bricks are my primary material. And with the newest update, 1.12, there came the addition of concrete. So I've been using that on some of my roads. And I'll show you an example of a concrete road that I have probably toward the end of this video. So that's the material I use for the roads. Even with the addition of concrete, wool is still my #1 choice. Probably because I've been using this since I started playing the game. So, and as you can see here, over here I'm using light gray wool to give it a more concrete appearance to it. And then over on these roads, I use gray wool for an asphalt-like surface. So if you're going to use wool for your roads, just remember, gray equals asphalt, light gray equals concrete, stone bricks equals sidewalk. In another world I have, I also use stone slabs. So if I just do this is a more realistic looking sidewalk, but in most of the worlds that I play, I use stone bricks. This is another material I've been using for sidewalks since I started playing the game. So also, on some of these roads, which are supposed to resemble older roads, I use andesite. It kind of gives the road the appearance of an older, more well-used asphalt surface to it. And then for the white lines, I use diorite. And then on some roads where I have a center line, I'm going to use sponge. Let's see, caution. Bridge weight limit 15 tons. Looks like I'm not landing my spaceship on this bridge. And then much less common use I have for road surfaces is hardened clay, or I guess the game now calls it terracotta, but it's always going to be hardened clay for me, so I'm just going to call it hardened clay. Alright, so let's go ahead and build a road. So properties of the road itself. Each lane is 2 blocks wide. So if I extend this road, this strip of gray wool here is 1 lane. At intersections over in city areas, I use these white lines to create these rather standard looking crosswalks. And then for the center line, I use yellow wool. Now, if you're building this road in city, or if the road is very curvy, I use yellow lines to indicate no passing zones, which resembles the center lines that you'll see on roads where no passing zones are the solid lines and the passing zones are dotted lines. And then in cities, I use brick for the side of the road, the sidewalks, which basically means in cities, these roads do not have shoulders. Really? They don't have shoulders? Does that mean that these roads have no way to connect their arms to the rest of their body? Stop that, bunny! Anyway, so quick review. So each lane is 2 blocks wide. The center line is made by yellow wool, and the sidewalk is made out of stone brick. And these are the types of roads that I build in the city. So before I step away from city roads, if I'm building a road without a center line, I usually get rid of the 5th center lane of blocks and just make the road itself 4 blocks wide, as you can see here. And when I do stuff like that, or if the road has an odd number of lanes, which causes for this crosswalk approach to not exactly fit correctly, I tend to make it a solid line of white wool all the way, or diorite in this case. So, countryside roads. How to build these old country lanes, huh? So if I clear out this bit of terrain here to make a flat approach for the road, and if I give chicken his egg back, I guess it's her egg because it's only the females who lay eggs. So as you can see with this country road, instead of stone brick sidewalks on the side of the road, there are these white lines made by white wool. So in country roads, I use these for shoulders instead of stone bricks for sidewalks. Now, what if you want to make a passing zone along some of the straight sections of this road? Well, if I fly over here, I'll show you. So as you can see right here, I have white wool lines and yellow wool lines connected together. R727, one of my highway types in Rabbit World. Now, what this type of line indicates is that traffic on the right side of the road, or whichever side you choose the traffic to go on. If you're in America, go ahead and put traffic on the right side. If you live in any other country in the world, go ahead, put it on the left side. I don't really care. Can't tell you what to do. So, so the white lines on this side indicate that traffic going this way is allowed to pass. This is their passing zone. Yellow lines right here indicate that traffic going this way cannot pass. This is their no passing zone. So what I do is I implement these types of passing zones as soon as the road is free of any unsafe view obstructing obstacle like an intersection, or if I were to go over there, a turn. So traffic going away from the obstruction would get these passing zones right away. And traffic going toward the obstruction would lose their passing zone approximately 30 blocks from where the obstruction starts. So This is where the obstruction starts, for example. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So for traffic going this way, this is where their passing zone ends. So if people are traveling on my roads, they have to know that yellow lines indicate no passing zone. Now, when you get a passing zone for either side of traffic, I just use the white lines to indicate that both sides of traffic can pass as they desire. So I'm going to drive on the wrong side of the road. Good thing there's no truck here to stop me. Ooh, and yeah, I'm definitely going on the wrong side of the road, and I should stop before I get myself killed. So that's country roads. Alright, so here's the concrete road example that I promised you guys. This highway is B99. Now this road going this way is going to wind up in Houston if I follow it far enough. I think I'm about 5 hectometers from it. So this next part of the video is going to be covering avenues. What to do if the road has more than 2 lanes. Well, center line is always going to be yellow, and then on either side I have an even number of lanes. These lanes are separated by white lines. By the way, I do the dashed line pattern like so. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So dashed lines are 2 blocks long, and then there's a 2 block gap between 2 different lines. That's how I do it. So that takes care of that quick discussion on avenues. If I fly over here, I can show you some divided roads. So as you can see here, the one yellow line splits into 2. So on divided roads like this, you have your outside shoulder, or if it's in the city, you can choose to have it just be a stone brick. Sidewalk. You have your 2 lanes. Some divided roads, you can do just 1 lane. I'll talk a little more about that in a moment. And then here, I do yellow lines for the inner shoulder. Then you've got your median of choice, material, size. So if I go for here, now I consider this to be a divided road. Even though if you were to remove the barrier, it would only appear to be an undivided road. I consider it to be a divided road. I use cobblestone walls to represent Jersey-style barriers, like the kind of barriers you would see in the big cities. Oh yeah, there's another thing I probably should mention is that I use cobblestone walls as railings on bridges and on parts of the road where if you were to drive off without it, you are gonna fall a little bit, possibly injure, or even kill yourself, and that would not be good. And if you were only injured, you would have to hope you have proper coverage and blah, blah, blah. So over here I have a 3 block wide grass median. This is another type of median you can use for your divided roads. And I think that completes that discussion. Wait, what about my single lane roads? Well, for that, I usually make the lanes 3 blocks wide. Don't ask me why I do that. I just make them 3 blocks wide whenever it's a single lane. I also do this kind of lane width whenever I have a 2-lane boulevard. Again, don't ask me why I do that. I just do it. Alright, so what about curves and diagonals for roads? Well, I can combine those both into one sub-discussion. So as you can see, the lane right here is 2 lanes. And then 2 blocks from where the center line changes its position so as to commence a turn or a diagonal. 2 blocks away, the lane expands to 3 blocks wide, and I just repeat that. This road over here, I have an example for turning. Notice this inner lane here. So it starts out 2 blocks, and expands to 3 blocks. Does that. And then for diagonal turns, I started by expanding it to 3 blocks wide, then expand it to 4 blocks wide. I think over here it's better notice 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the 3 block and 4 block width expansions have an obvious reason. That way, within the turns, the lane can appear to be the same size, kinda, sorta. And I'm just gonna walk down this road and think, have I covered everything in my discussion of roads for this episode? Alright, well, now I'm back home, and I think I've pretty much finished the basic discussion for how to make roads, or at least how I make roads. So I think that's going to conclude today's video. And before I officially do the sign off, I'm just going to let you know with summer approaching, you can expect more videos coming your way. But that's going to do it for today's video, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. India Alpha Bravo checking out. Ah, look, Bunny Sports Network. Let's watch some football.